Hi everyone, welcome to another video. In our previous interior video on the Lear Siegler seats, I talked about the state of the interior when I first bought it and all the parts that were missing. Now, looking on eBay for Grand National parts left me shocked for two reasons. One, I couldn't find everything in the right color, and two, prices were sky high, nearly $3,000 worth of parts in poor condition. I found this complete interior set out of an '85 Monte Carlo for $500, and I transformed it into my Grand National interior for only $200 worth of supplies. You'll need 4 to 6 cans of spray paint or a quart of paint, a spray gun, adhesive promoter, primer, a gray Scotch-Brite pad, and soap and water. First off, I used the gray Scotch-Brite as a sponge and scrubbed the panels with soapy water. It allows me to wet sand and clean the panel all at once. Once everything dries, then I spray adhesive promoter, and that sits on for 10 minutes. Then I go into primer. All right, next day here, I'm gonna spray black sealer primer across everything. I've got a combination of exterior and interior parts. They're all getting the same treatment when it comes to primer. I got my gun mixed up. I'm all set over there, so let's get it. Once primer dries after 20 minutes, I then move on to the finish coat. I'm using supplies from my local paint shop, and everything cost me $160. My spray gun is a Harbor Freight Special, the 2-piece gun kit that usually costs $40 when on sale. I have a lot more experience painting with cans, so naturally I went this route when starting to paint my interior. Now, I used 2 cans rather quickly just on the T-top components and some random interior bits, and I wasn't seeing a lot of value for the money. So I went back to my paint shop and I asked them if I could get a quart of interior material instead of in the spray cans. It cost a lot less money, and I was able to use my Harbor Freight small gun out of a 2-piece kit. You may be asking, why are you painting with the carpet on the door panel? That's because I'm getting ready to rewrap that fabric piece. And I don't want paint to get on the adhesive that's underneath it. So I'm going to be careful how I paint it. I'm going to make sure I get all of the edges, get really good coverage on it. So when I start to peel that carpet away, I'll be left with fresh adhesive that I can stick new adhesive to and get a really solid bond. So after grabbing a quart of this color chip, I went right to town on painting the rest of the interior. I was a little concerned about the soft touch surfaces, like the door handles and the armrests, but these are actually ones that stuck even better than the hard plastic pieces. I'm really happy with the coverage and the way it turned out. I did have to thin it a little bit for it to flow smoothly in the gun, but after a few coats, it was looking like that was the original color. At this point, I've gotten a lot of the interior painted, but I noticed what's wrong with my $500 set. The sail panels were all wrong. Monte Carlo and Regal cars have different sail panels because the window shape is different. So thankfully I ordered some on eBay for $100, got them delivered to my door, and now it's just time to paint those as well. All right, so I got a bunch of interior plastics. Everything here is ready to go. So I'm gonna pop all of this stuff in and we'll have our interior finally done. Now, I didn't tell you guys this, but the set that I got from the Monte Carlo, it's a hardtop car. And we're installing it on a T-top car. So you got to make a trim right here. If you notice, this is the driver's side A-pillar. And it's supposed to be one single piece for the hardtop models. But I had to chop it right here so that the T-top header piece for the interior plastic slides over this. And it'll be seamless. I'll show you that once I get it installed. Here's a T-top A-pillar piece after it's all been installed. And as you can see, everything covers up nicely and you're not able to see the rough cuts that I made. One other piece of advice I would make, especially on high-touch areas like this where the T-tops bolt up, you're already seeing some scuffing here and it's not going to stand up to the test of time. So a layer or two of clear coat, maybe matte finish, or satin right on top of the die would be perfect for making sure that you don't get any of these imperfections. I made a mistake when I was installing the lower panel here. After you install the seatbelt, you're supposed to install the armrest on top of it because there's screws that go into the back of the panel that you can only access while it's out. So I had to rip this back apart, but It's just nice to see the interior going back together, and this is the nicest shot I have of that. And here it is. All the interior plastics are put back together. I didn't put my rear in because I haven't put my headliner on. That's probably going to be something that gets done after nationals. Right now, we're up against the wire, and there's only a certain amount of things that I can do before we really need to leave. But just to show you, you can replace all of your interior plastics for just a few $100 and have something that looks really great. But thanks for watching. Talk to you on the next one.